Christmas time. Well, nearly, Rob. It's not quite, but it's the run up to Christmas time.
It's almost there, isn't it? We're almost there. Almost got to Christmas.
Almost got rid of 2020.
Yeah.
The evil year.
Evil in some ways.
Well, in most.
Yeah, but I mean, in the world of spectacular online music shows, I mean, it's been a good year. That
has been an outstanding year. And what a climax we have tonight.
Episode 10, Jules.
Episode 10. 8 months of this we've been doing now.
I know.
8 months you've had to put up with me doing this.
I don't know if it feels like 8 days or 8 months or 8 years. Who knows anymore? We've got someone else for this, haven't we?
And we have. Matt's there. Hello Matt.
Hello.
Sword swinging robot in the house.
In my house, yes.
Well, in your house. Clearly, in your socially distanced house. Yeah, absolutely. So we have got a packed show tonight. And again, because it's a packed show, we're going to try and keep the talk down a little bit tonight, as much as we possibly can. But this is, as you rightly say, Rob, episode 10. It's a momentous occasion. We've reached double digits. So what have we got on the show tonight?
We have got j.mccoy. We have got I.should.have.been.a.dj. Got a track from myself. Got a track from Matt as Sword Swinging Robot. Got No Set Path, Scott Metoyer, Dave Julian, and IIITAIII as well. And then we've got a Christmas song. We've even got a Christmas song for you to finish off. Not a traditional Christmas song by any means, but a Christmas song nonetheless.
There's been some sky-breaking news, apparently. I just heard the news in the background. So there we go. That's exciting as well. Everybody check their phones quickly. Well, this is pre-recorded, so you can check your phone, but you won't see anything.
Check your phones and find out what happened on Wednesday.
Exactly. Very exciting stuff. So what are we kicking off with, Rob?
We are going to kick off with J. McCoy coming to us all the way from Milwaukee. So we've got a absolutely gorgeous piece on the modular to get us all in the mood tonight.
Well, shall we have a listen first and then we'll natter about it afterwards?
Yeah, good plan.
I won't do my American accent and say Milwaukee either. Or will I? Milwaukee! It's not bad. Right, here we go. This is J. McCoy. It's an amazing song. Here we go. Now that was a serious piece of modular kit.
Yeah, some pretty incredible sequencing going on there for the melodies. He did try and explain to me the harmonic structure of the patch, but
Right.
I won't lie to you, I didn't really understand much of it. I know my minors and major scales, or at least what they are, but there's lots of words John was using that I didn't really understand. But yeah.
I spotted something on the iPad there as well. There was something going on the iPad, and I couldn't quite work out whether it was an instrument running on there, or whether there was a sequencer running on there, or what it was.
A couple of sequencers. He had the Fugue machine on there, which is a
Right.
awesome little sequencer. So that was doing the sequencing, and he had I think we saw the little row of SQ1s, the little Korg sequencers that he had running across the bottom. So he had a load of sort of sequence stuff coming through there as well. And it was.
Yeah, so it was. And I think it was an old Chaosillator he had down the bottom. I thought it was a Chaos pad at first, but the Chaos pads were red, so I think that was an old Chaosillator.
It was. I actually googled it while I was watching it earlier.
Did you?
Yeah, it was the original Chaosillator. So it's cool to see that even with such a giant modular system, little kind of almost toys still, if you put them through enough processing, can still generate some really interesting, fun results.
Oh. Well, those old Chaosillators are dirt cheap now as well, and they're just great little bits of kit. And the old Chaos pads are really cheap as well. If you get the first edition ones, which are fairly limited, but it's still a great little processing unit.
You get an XY pad as well, don't you, Jules? We all love an XY pad.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they are good, aren't they? Because you got that immediate kind of feel over whatever effects you're putting on stuff with those with those pads. So
yeah. And it was beautiful. There's a lovely piano in there as well.
Yeah, the kind of melody and just the arrangement and kind of the way it evolved around the kind of different parts of the track. He's clearly someone who spends a lot of time kind of thinking about the sort of melodic construct of a piece of music. So yeah, no, it's a really beautiful. If you want to hear more of it, he is on Bandcamp as j.mccoy. So you can, if you want to hear more of his music, you can go check him out on there. So yeah, and on Instagram as well. Follow him on Instagram. There's loads of good stuff from him on there. So
we have got some amazing coming up next as well, though, haven't we? With a great title, Hannibal versus Annabelle.
Hannibal versus Annabelle. Yeah. So we've got I.should.have.been.a.dj. is his artist name. So let's have a listen, and then we can have a chat about it afterwards.
Absolutely. All the way from Quebec. Let's enjoy this. what a great song, Hannibal versus Annabelle. Like, I love that title. It's
I know,
fantastic,
it's ace, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah, Simon's. I've been following Simon for years on Instagram, and he kind of took a bit of a break for a while, and he just come back, and he's just so talented. I mean, you can see on there his drum kit in the background. And he picks up the guitar and plays that and starts looping it, and the synths and drum machines and everything. He's just super cool guy and so talented.
I mean, when he picked up the shaker, I thought, oh, here we go, a real instrument for a change. And then he picks up a guitar. Holy guacamole!
I know.
This is all going on, and it is a seriously good tone. I was saying before, I felt it had a real laid-back Californian vibe to the whole thing. And then you were, Rob, saying,
yeah, I think it's Air. It reminded me of. So yeah, so that kind of some of their earlier stuff. Can't remember when Air first came out. Kelly Watch the Stars and things like that. It's just
I know, late 90s, was it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, around there. How did you find it, Matt?
It was just beautiful, and I really love just watching those performances come together as well. And doing, when you do the live looping performances, not making it feel like it's bare bones to start with. The way you started with the little melody, and then you add some shaker, you add some guitar, and then being able to actually have a performance that you could listen to while you're building it is always something that's really cool to watch. And I think it was just a lovely place to spend 3.5 minutes. I really liked
really
that.
Was.
I'll definitely be checking out more of his stuff.
Nice to see some affordable bits of kit being used as well in these as well. So Behringer Crave in there. I can't remember which those are, but they're not crazy many, are they?
They're like 120 quid or something.
Yeah, ridiculously
crazy.
cheap what they are.
Yeah. I mean, I know people have a bit of a downer on Behringer for what they're doing and all the rest of it, but they're making this sort of music so affordable and so accessible to so many more people. So you've got to tip your hat to that, really. Anyway, amazing piece of music, all the way from Quebec. And as you say, where can we find him again?
So he's on Instagram as I.should.have.been.a.dj. He's also just set up a Patreon channel account. Don't know what you call it, but yeah. So he's on Patreon, and so if you want to support him, and he's kind of he's someone who really engages with people who comment on his music, and he's trying to build that through Patreon and kind of build up some kind of, I think he wants to build up a more direct relationship with people who like his music, so they can kind of do requests and exchange ideas and that kind of thing. So yeah, lovely guy, Simon. So if you can support him on the Patreon, do so, but at the very least follow him on Instagram, because he's ace.
Brilliant. Okay, and coming up next, we've got it's a classic stalwart of the community. Is yourself, Rob?
Yeah, well, I thought the Christmas show I'd sneak something on here, see if I could. Amongst esteemed company, but yeah, we'll give this one a go. Yeah,
well, I've got to say, this is one of my favourites ever that you've done, to be quite honest with you. It's just a really lovely melodic piece of music. It's just gorgeous. So anyway, let's let everybody else have a listen. It's called, is it Mimeo 1?
Mimeo 1, yeah, that'll do.
Let's go with that. It's Mimeo 1 by Etchasketch. Etchasketch. Always a great performance, Rob, but I genuinely got to say that really was one of my favourites ever. That was just a beautiful, lovely, lush piece of music. Look at that, there's people texting me there saying the same thing.
Yeah, it's taken a bit of a while to get there with this setup. So I've got the intro psych, which is a quad oscillator module. So working out how to sequence that and keep its 4 oscillators in tune and sounding good with everything else has proved to be a challenge, but yeah, we've got there. And the Mimio's the Mimiophone delay from Make Noise, which you can, it's like a delay and you can loop things in it. So the start of that is actually a loop that's coming from the delay. And yeah, it's just lovely. It's like a delay that you can almost play like an instrument. So yeah, it just came together quite nice, that one. So
well, it was really nice. And Matt, you were saying that because you had a pre-listen to something else last night and were expecting something completely different.
I did, yeah, but see, two sides of the man's talent, like proper funk on one, and then I watched that, I was like, nope, not the same track, but like, absolutely, just gorgeous. The 2 sides of the coin, and I think I just wrote down like analog. If you wanted to look in the dictionary and see analog, it was just such a gorgeous sound out of that psych oscillator, like I guess the chords coming out of it with it being polyphonic, but
yes, it does.
Gorgeous.
It does chorus. It's got 4 voice productive inputs into it. So you've got the harmony, which is the thing with all the orange lights underneath it, which is it basically sends out chords. It's a quantizer that sends out chords into the psych, so they're kind of made to go with each other. So yeah, but yeah, it has got a lovely, rich analog sound. So. Yeah.
I know, well done, mate. It was just really genuinely a beautiful song, that. And again, so if people want to find your stuff elsewhere, where are they going to look?
Bandcamp or YouTube or Instagram. I'm everywhere, really, Jules. Do you know what I mean? Anywhere where someone might listen, it's on there. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, probably Instagram. I'm probably on there every day, posting something or other. So.
Very good. All right, we'll have a quick look and I say subscribe to all of those channels if you can as well. It does help us all if you subscribe to our channels. It really is a big, it's just a big little slap on the back, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
it helps us
nice. Yeah.
enthuse about doing more and more stuff, which obviously is not paid for and just doing this out of the love of doing it. So yeah, please support everybody that you hear on here tonight if you possibly can. Speaking of supporting people, Matt, you've been an amazing support to the whole community for the whole time that you've been involved in it, right from the start. And you've also produced some amazing music during that time as well. And again, I don't want to say, but this is a bit of a pinnacle.
Oh, well, thank you.
In my view.
It's always nice when your new track is classed as a pinnacle. Like, I think people saying like, oh, that track that you made like a few years ago, that I really like that one. You're like, yeah, but what about my new one? So yeah, compliment my new stuff all you like. It's great.
Well, I tell you what, let's have a listen, then we'll have a little chat about it afterwards. So this is Sword Swinging Robot, and this is Voyager. Holy cow. That was Sword Swinging Robot and Voyager. Now, again, I'm sure everybody else would be nodding their heads in agreement here. That was pro-level stuff.
Yeah.
That really was pro-level stuff.
It always is from Matt. And, I mean, that's one of the many highlights off the album, which... When did it come out, Matt?
Was it a couple of weeks ago? Yeah, Friday before last.
Well, it is amazing. I mean, the whole album's amazing. We'll just mention that again in a second and where people can get it from. But this song, honestly, Matt, I just genuinely loved it. It was fantastic. And it was that pulsing bass line in there as well.
Yeah.
And how did you create that? What was that with?
That was the Analog 4. And
was it?
It's just lots of envelopes and LFOs and then re-triggering it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. For that little machine, it's got so much modulation on it. You can just create crazy things and then make really fun bass lines that I couldn't make it again if I tried. But the good thing is you can save stuff. So
it's there.
Yeah. And again, what I love about your stuff, because watching you doing that, then the amount of equipment you're using there. So you've got 4 electrons there. You've got the crack, I forgot what it's called. What's the big keyboard one called?
The Sequential Pro 2.
The Pro 2, and then you've also got a TB3 there as well.
Yep.
So if I'd have tried to use that much of equipment, which I wouldn't be capable of using anyway, but if I'd have tried to do that, mine would have just sounded like an absolute horrific cacophony of sound. Whereas you've managed to blend all this together with so much sound in there, almost like an electronic orchestra, and it's just so beautifully put together and so beautifully that it doesn't feel too full, if you know what I mean.
Good. Yeah, thank you. Last thing, there's a lot of kit, but it's 4 voices coming out of the Analog 4, and then some drums and a few stems coming out of the Octatrack.
I think you make that sound a little simpler than it is.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's funny listening to the album because it, for me at least, it feels a bit like a kind of greatest hits, because we've kind of heard these songs at Modulate and Only Human and at Cloud Spotting Festival, so I've kind of feels like I've lived with these songs for a couple of years now, hearing you play them live, and the way you brought it all together on the album, I think you've captured that live feel of everything as well. So,
thanks. I think that was kind of what I really wanted to do with this album, because some of the tracks have been around for a while, but they've kind of been reinvented over the last kind of year and a half or so. I mean, since finding Modulate and just getting totally re-inspired. And given such a positive place to play out, it's a lot of them have evolved and a lot of new tracks have come out, like Shake the Universe, which ended up being the title track, just came out of having the opportunity to do something for Modulate TV, especially during a difficult time for the world, and a chance to make something hopefully positive. Yeah,
and talking of that, might be too humble to mention it, but if you buy it, is it between now and Christmas, then you're contributing everything to charity from, do you want to talk a little bit about the cause?
Yeah, a great local charity called GISDA, who are based in Carnarvon, so just down the road from me.
How'd you spell that, Matt?
It's GISDA. Okay. So between the launch and Christmas, all proceeds from the album go to that charity that supports vulnerable young adults across North Wales, and the response has been fantastic. I think we're closing in on about £200 raised for the charity, so that's a nice little bonus.
That's fantastic.
Pre-Christmas.
That's fantastic. So if anybody wants to find that, where are they going to go and find that album?
Swordswingingrobot.bandcamp.com.
Swordswingingrobot.bandcamp.com, and I'm guessing you've got other stuff on there as well as the album there.
Just the album for now.
Just the album.
Who knows what might
just
come
the
up.
album.
Well, good luck. Well, that is exciting. It's the start of an adventure.
Yeah.
There we are. Brilliant. Okay, superb. Thank you very much, Matt. That was an amazing song, as always. I think we're skipping back over to Canada again now, aren't we?
Yeah, I think Ontario. So we've got No Set Path, which is the name that a chap called Dan Bissou performs underneath. So yeah, slight change of tempo on this one. I'm
going to give you the quickest story ever. I went to Ontario to do some work, and it was June, and it was boiling hot, absolutely roasting. So I had to go back to Ontario again in December to do some more work, and I thought it was really hot in the summer, so it's going to be fairly mild in the winter. So I just put some light clothes with me, and the snow was up to my knees, and I had to cry on the way to the shops to go and buy proper boots and a coat. Right, anyway, so let's have a listen to this. This is No Set Path. It's an amazing tune. Wow. That was quite something. I don't know what else to say, really.
No, absolutely. So, Dan's his Instagram feed's been on fire for months and months and months, and he put up a short snippet of this the other week, and I was like, please tell me you've got a longer version of this, and he did. So I was like, so he sent it in for the show, but I just love the way he's using the little black box sampler, so the 1010 music black box, and he's kind of triggering the kind of samples on there, and he's got it all chopped up. So
I couldn't quite see what he was using. It's the 1010, is it? Right.
Yeah, it's 1010 black box. So he's got I think he's using Hermod and some random modules in the modular to trigger the kind of slices on the black box. So I think it's a mix of kind of program triggering, but a bit of random going in on there as well. So that's where you get the kind of the sort of really fast kind of re-triggers of all those slices. So
how do you find that, Matt?
Just great to have some just proper banging jungle on the show. I think that's our first jungle tune. We've had some D&B in the past, but just that Amen break, I'll never get bored of listening to it, and it's something that you can play the whole thing, or you can chop it into 16ths of 30 seconds, and it just still sounds great. So
it was superb, and it was. And when I love a bit of drum and bass, but it also had some very subtle pieces in there as well. So I actually wrote down, it reminded me of kind of like John Hopkins versus Danny Bird.
Nice.
I don't know if you know Danny Bird.
Okay. I hear that.
But it was a real bit of drum and bass and a real bit of laid back in there as well. It was a great mix of the two. Really was superb, and what a fantastic piece of modular kit he had there as well.
Yeah, no, brilliant, and real. I mean, he doesn't always produce that style of music, so he's really worth following. I say on Instagram, a real variety of stuff he gets out of there, and again, someone who's on there a lot, posting a lot. So quite inspiring to follow, and when I'm following, it's just one of those people who always kind of makes you think, and gives you ideas and sparks that creativity. So and another person, again, like so many of us, who's on Bandcamp as well. So if you want to find out a bit more about No Set Path, then search for him on Bandcamp. You'll find his stuff on there. Superb.
Great song. I really genuinely enjoyed that. Okay, next up we've got, we're staying over that side of the pond. We're moving a little bit warmer though. We're getting out of the snowy area. This is where I should have gone in my light trousers in December rather than Ontario. So we're moving over to California, and Scott Metoyer.
I know, he's back. I can't remember what episode Scott did for us, but
a couple of 3 ago,
early on, 3 or 4, and he wowed us on that one, and he's been experimenting, and I'm not going to say too much about this one until after it, but it's extraordinary.
Over to California. This is Scott Metoyer. Oh, cheapers creepers. Well, it might have been in California, but I got a bit of a chill off that. That was Scott Metoyer. That was utterly chilling dark.
I know. Just everything on that. The staging, the lights, the kind of dark background, and he's got a very particular sound, Scott. He's kind of very, very kind of distinctive, kind of the kind of percussion and kind of on edge melodies that he kind of gets out of the module, and it's all he's doing. It's quite sparse at times, but kind of the sound itself is really full. So it just totally different to anyone else in terms of when he kind of puts a performance together like this.
On edge is exactly the right phrase, because I wrote down it was like a horror movie. It just felt, I was, as much as I was enjoying the music, there was something in there, something sinister in there, and I was constantly like just waiting for something to happen and give me a little scared. It actually didn't, but until about 8 minutes, and then there was some really weird, disturbing chattering that came in, which again was really cool and really nice, but it just added to that kind of sinister feel of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it was a brilliant piece of music. And then he goes and picks up what you said, Rob, is actually a homemade piece of equipment.
Yeah, so it's got I think he made it himself. He probably did because he's a bit of a DIY enthusiast. It's got an accelerometer in there.
Right.
So when he picks up the cube and he's moving it around, then that's affecting the dynamics of stuff within the patch. But if you're like me, Matt, I was watching that thinking, when's he going to pick up the box? He's going to pick up the box. And I kind of knew he was, obviously, because I'd seen it on Instagram and I knew the party trick. But I guess if you were watching that for the first time, you might not have known that they're doing what that box was. So
yeah, it's kind of like, I think there's a thing, was it Chekhov's gun? Where like if a gun appears in the first act of a play or whatever, that you have to shoot someone in the third act, and you're kind of watching it going, okay, now there's a cube in the room here, what's going to happen with that? And then when he picks it up, and I was just thinking, and he's got such great production on that track that you get to see what he's doing throughout, but having something like that you can make the big visual moves, where with modular performance, I think I find sometimes that the intricacy of the sound doesn't translate to the visual because it's all so tiny and covered in cables. So having something like that was just such a beautiful visual accompaniment to all of the modulation that it was that coming off. It was and just a fantastic track, and it's like you say, it's got it all. I think I wrote down like watching insects on another planet. So it just had that, all the little crinkly little sounds, and then just a lovely big kick drum and bass line as well. So brilliant track.
That's an awesome piece of music.
Suspense he builds in as well. I think he's clever as well. I mean, quite easy. If I had that, I'd be like, I wouldn't be able to get to 30 seconds probably, and I'd be picking up the box and playing it and that kind of thing. But I mean, it's like to hold
be looking
it back
at it the whole time.
I want to
pick up.
But to hold it back for that long and then to use it in a kind of, like you say, Mike, you could hear and see the effect it was having on the track, but it was kind of understated at the same time. I thought. Just
he didn't get too performing artsy.
No.
But
With ribbons,
just really subtle.
It was really cool. So if we want to see more of Scott Metoyer or hear more of Scott Metoyer, where can we find him?
Again, he's on Bandcamp. Scott Metoyer is on Bandcamp, and again, just someone well worth following on Instagram. Like most of the people on here, he's just always pushing the boundaries of what is possible and experimenting in different directions. So but always with an aspect of always with an eye on it being part of a performance, so not just experimenting for experimenting's sake, but actually stuff that then he turns into a performance like that, which is extraordinary.
And again, if you're searching for him, just so we can get the spelling right, I think it's Scott with a single T, isn't it?
No, I think it might be two T's, but it's Metoyer. It's Metoyer. We'll put the links in the the description. So yeah.
Cool. Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much indeed, Scott. That was again an amazing piece of music. So we're moving on again to one of our classics. It's a regular appearer for us and one of our good friends. It's Dave Julian, the Prince of Synth, is in the house with something very special again, isn't he?
This is. I mean, Dave's done. I mean, like I say, he's been a regular live shows and on the show, but this, what a way to finish the year.
Yeah.
Turn it up as loud as you can get away with turning it up, and yeah.
Well, exactly. I mean, my very good lady wife isn't that keen on the type of music I listen to, and she was sitting in the background whilst I was listening to these this afternoon, and then as soon as I was playing Dave's, her little head popped up and she said, "Oh, I like this one. Who's this?" So and so it just shows the spread that this has. This is just such a good tune. It reaches right out across very, very different audiences. I'll stop rambling about it. Let's have a listen. So this is Dave Julian. This is Science Function. Another classic from DJ Dave Julian, Science Function. That one was actually created for the Oscilloscope X Modulate night that we did, wasn't it? So Dave created that as his part of trying to do something more oscilloscope.
Yeah, so that was the genesis of it, and he took the second half of that performance as the starting point for this one,
Right.
and then he's added some extra bits on just for us. So there were no drums in the original track, so he's got the I think he's using his Dramatics drum machine on there, which I just love. The snares and the hi-hat from that thing just sounds so good. And then just his usual kind of live playing of everything else, which is just extraordinary. And someone mentioned analog for my thing before. I mean, if you want the definition of how good analog can sound, then Dave's stuff is, it's just next level.
And again, so I think, Rob, as well, you wanted to just talk a little bit about Oscilloscope X Modulate.
Yeah. So talking about, I guess sharing and collaboration, we did our last shows a month or so ago with our good friends at Oscilloscope, where we did their show and we did theirs, and we kind of, someone had the idea afterwards it'd be good to kind of pair people up from the two shows, because there was 5 of us on each, and actually do some remixes. So we had a bit of a vote that went out on Facebook, and the results are in, Julian.
All my life.
I know. It's very exciting. So we've got the pairings. I'm not sure what form this will take. There's no pressure on anyone. We might do a show. It might be another. We did a Bandcamp album, by the way, from those 2 shows. So again, if you want to check that out, we'll put the link in there. But that's another one that we're doing for doing for charity before Christmas. So, but the pairings are, drum roll please.
Dun, dun, dun.
Come on, you can do better than that for a drum roll, sure.
That's the best I can get.
The best you can get. So we've got Rob Spall and Andy Peggs, pairing number 1. Pairing number 2, how good is this going to be? Dave Julian and Charles. So,
that'll be interesting.
I know.
Yeah.
We've got Glyn and Matt. Myself.
That's going to be fun.
I know. Yeah. I can't wait to hear what you do with Glyn's track, Matt. I'm paired with Mark Albro, so that's going to be fun for me, working with a different style. And then your good self Jules is paired with Ed. So.
Oh crikey! Well, I don't get much of a challenge there, then, do I? Ed, who's a proper musician, and he's going to be remixing mine, and then me, who's a buffoon, and I'm mixing Ed's. So this is just going to be.
But the idea.
Ed's going to do something amazing out of this.
The idea is we work together, so it's so anything goes. So watch this space. Hopefully we'll get a few of the performances on the shows and get some releases out there. But really, really fun way to kind of sort of keep that collaboration going and keep working together and share some ideas.
Absolutely. Matt, if I give you a tenner, can you do my homework?
It's cheating, Jules. It's cheating.
Hey, what? Oh, did I do that on mic?
We'll talk afterwards when the principal's not around.
So next up, we're going back over to America, New York. I won't do my New York accent. Hakwafi. I will, obviously. And this is, am I going to pronounce this correctly? Is it IITAIII? IIITAIII.
Yeah.
So again, seriously good piece of music. In fact, I'm not going to say anything about this yet. Let's just have a listen. And then we'll come back in, just absorb this.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing. This is IITAIII, Everything Changed. IIITAIII, everything changed. I tell you what, everything kind of did change during that. How utterly amazing was that?
Totally spellbinding, that performance. The whole thing, the staging of it, like the studio, the lighting, the smoke drifting across. It sounds amazing. Then he sings, and you're like, all right, okay. So that's clearly not fair because you're not supposed to do that. And it's just a great song. When you talked about sort of Kate liking Dave's stuff, when I played it to my Kate and she listened to this, she was like, whoa, he's doing that on a modular. Modular doesn't normally sound like this. I said, yeah, I know. It's a proper song, and by that I'm not doing him a disservice, but it is a pop song that he's written on a modular.
Well, I'd go a step further than that. I mean, for a start, he's a one-man band there as well.
Yeah.
So he is a proper one-man band, and you know, as soon as you say one-man band, you expect a sort of thing. But it isn't. Not that kind of one-man band. But he has created something here that is huge with his vocals as well, as one person doing this.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, his vocals are very Tom York as well. He's got a real tone of Tom York about it.
Yeah.
And the whole song had a very sort of modern Radiohead feel about it.
Yeah.
And I know people don't like comparisons, but it does.
I think that's a fair one. I think there's a bit of feel of Nine Inch Nails about it as well. Not necessarily the kind of really heavy industrial kind of Nine Inch Nails, but some of their more melodic, mellow stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's a super powerful track, and the way he's got it, set up, he was kind enough to send me kind of really detailed patch notes on it. Is that he's got some sequences in there that hold the core sequences of that track, and kind of keep it going as a kind of structure of the song. So he uses the NerdSec sequencer, which quite popular if you want to have, I guess, jammable loops that you just know what your song structure is going to sound like. But then he's got other sequences in there as well that allow him to improvise and kind of do stuff on the fly. So every performance can be different, but the core structure of what is a beautifully written song sounds the same. And he's got switches in there, so he doesn't have to use the same voices each time he performs it. He can use different modules for different parts of the song. So it allows him to perform like he did, because it was a brilliant performance.
Yeah.
But retain the kind of core of, let's say, what is a great song.
Yeah, and it is a great song. Matt, how did you find it?
Oh, totally blown away. Just as soon as I did think that something might be on fire at the start of the video, because when you see him come in, there's just a big waft of smoke. I was like, "Ooh, is that a module that's about to go up? Is that the blue smoke of death?" But it's just amazing. And then part of the way through, you're like, "Wait a minute, those lights behind him are synced to the kick and the snare. Is that coming out of the module?"
That's deliberate, yeah. So if you want to hear how he does that, so he did a performance for Modular World. So Jono's show that is on YouTube. So and for that he performs with a live drummer in a forest that's near his mate, the drummer's house. So they ran some extension cables into this forest. Set up a drum kit, is modular, all these lights, and basically performed at night in this woodland. And again, it's utterly astonishing because it's live drumming with the modular, and he performs that song and some others. But he was talking to Jono afterwards, and I think he either designed or co-designed the modules so that the lighting is in sync with his performances on the modular as well.
Blimey.
So good spot, Matt. But I mean, yeah, the whole thing, it's just kind of next level good.
Yeah, 100%.
Just watching that, I think just kind of crystallised what we've been able to do with Modulate TV this year. Just bring so many amazing artists, hopefully, certainly to our audience, hopefully to a larger audience. The number of people that I've now got in my Instagram follows, pretty much everybody that we've had on has just been like, okay, you're amazing, let's go find your Bandcamp. And it's been amazing just being able to bring everybody together like this.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it is amazing.
No, agreed. And everyone gives. I mean, it just shows the power of asking people, I guess. Do you mean because someone like IIITAIII, it's kind of, I thought, oh well, worst can happen is he'll say no. He's probably really busy. I know he's got loads on, but I was just like, oh, I just love that track and I love your performance of it. If you're ever doing anything again, then yeah, I'd be really interested. And then within a week, he's done a new version of it, and but everyone tonight, you doing that, Matt, Dave doing it, just everyone who's contributed stuff like tonight and over the year, it's just so much time goes into it. But like you say, you sit back and you watch a show like tonight with the performances on it, and it's just mind blowing that there's that much talent out there that in what's been a pretty shitty year, we've been able to kind of bring it together and actually create a sense of, okay, well, we're all doing this, and spend a couple of hours on a Sunday night enjoying each other's talent, and it's pretty cool, really.
So if anybody wants to see more of IIITAIII, where are they going to find it? We need a bit of spelling probably on this.
IIITAIII, yeah. So he's on Bandcamp. I think there's 3 I's, and it's TA, and then another 3 I's. So, but again, we'll put the links in the description. He's on that single's on Spotify as well. But yeah, Bandcamp, Spotify, YouTube.
Brilliant.
Got some brilliant stuff, and hopefully, if I ask him nicely, he'll do some more stuff for us in the new year, because slightly obsessed with his performances. How do I get that good?
Yeah, that was utterly amazing. To kind of, is this the last one of the year? I think it is it? Yep. It is, so a good way to end out the year. And what a song you've picked to finish it off with.
Absolutely. So so much of the inspiration for this show has come from Instagram and the community on there, and there's a chap on there called Frank Starship Head, who just a kind of bit of fun but also serious music as well. So he posts, I don't really know how to describe it, but kind of concept music, I guess, about far-flung galaxies and characters from within them. He posts that on Instagram under Frank Starship Head, but he's written a Christmas song, and and with it being our last episode before Christmas, I thought, what better way than playing possibly the most alternative Christmas song that you are going to hear this year, but also I think it's fair to say the most original and the most spectacular. So yes, we've got Captain Ghostnote and have a moist Christmas.
Have a moist Christmas number 6. Yeah. Oh, God knows what the other 5 were like.
Yeah, but this is going to be released, right? So it's going to be a proper release. So I mean, there's still time to get Have a Moist Christmas to number 1 for Christmas. As it would make Frank very happy, as he told me the other day, if you could hear it in Tesco's while he's buying his peas for his Christmas dinner. So,
well, there's probably a very good reason this won't be played in Tesco's whilst he's getting his peas for his Christmas dinner, and you'll realise why when you listen to the song. Anyway, let's have a listen. Let's see what everybody else thinks. It's a great song, though. And this is Captain Ghostnote, Moist Christmas, number 6.
Okay, people. What we want is a laser, isn't it?
Christmas.
Do you want a laser?
This Christmas I'm going to blow your family up. I'm going to blow all of your family up. Gonna blow your planet out of the sky. And you can say bye-bye to Christmas. You should let you buy all of my records from the shops. Take all of the records off the shelves. This Christmas I'm going to blow you up. Yeah, I'm going to blow all of your family up. I'm gonna zap you with my big old laser. The ones I got for Christmas. I'm hoping I get a big old one this year.
I want a laser, a big laser.
Gonna blow your planet out of the sky. bunch of baubles go zap.
Christmassy feeling.
Ooh, zappity zap,
Right, yeah.
zap,
Absolutely
zap,
right,
zap,
yeah.
zap,
2020.
zappity zap, zap,
Listen, Carl, I'm serious right now. If you isn't a laser in that wrapping paper there, you are serious. Seriousness. Okay? I'm a laser. Okay?
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
Lasers and Christmas.
Absolutely.
Going to blow your family up with lasers. That's why you're not going to hear it in Tesco's.
Well, given it's 2020, they might feel it's somehow appropriate. I'm sure they'd quite like to blow a few people up with lasers in Tesco's, but
Well, it was just, that was stupendously good.
absolutely
That really
brilliant.
was. Enjoyed every second
Bit of fun
of
to
that.
end the show. And as you were watching that play, you'll have seen, seen a thank you, I guess, to all the people who've kind of made this show happen over the years. So 10 shows, probably more than 50 people who've performed, and kind of made it special, really. So yeah, it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I think one thing we've learned, me and Matt were talking about this the other day, that even when we return to performing live, we'd like to keep some sense of this going, whereby what we do locally and kind of our shows, we can continue to keep this more global community going, where we can share our music alongside, say, like we've done tonight with folks from California and New York and Canada, and have people from Germany and Netherlands and all over the place this year. It's just been fab.
Well, it has, and not wishing to sound too corny, but we have been through a worldwide pandemic, but in some ways it has brought the world together. So, and it has been nice to get people from around the world onto our little show, which has just been quite amazing, really. And that wouldn't have happened had we not had the peculiar year we've had. So, you've got to look at the bright spots.
Absolutely.
There are little positives that have come out of the whole thing.
Absolutely.
So,
Let's keep it going, and those of us that were doing the shows together, big thank you for you two for supporting Matt, all the work in the background, getting the videos ready, and Jules, you with presenting it with us. It's just been it's been good to keep it going, and keep ourselves sane by the show must go on and all that. So yeah, thank you.
Indeed. Always a pleasure, never a chore.
No, absolutely.
And a Merry Christmas to all.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Indeed, Merry Christmas, and we'll catch you on the other side.
Exactly. Let's look forward to 2021. Night, Matt. Night, Rob. Night, all.